evening concert of Handbell music. We are Chime Music with a Mission. We are centered in Bethlehem at First Church. We're not part of First Church, but we used to be, and we utilize their facilities for our organization. This evening we have two of our 6 performing groups here, and next concert will be Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock at the Strawberry Shortcake show. If you'd like to hear 5 of the groups, including all the kids and everybody else who's part of the group, there'll be about 40 winners on Sunday. So, I'm Rick Wood. I'm director of music of this group. Samantha Beshta is hiding somewhere. She's right there. She is the assistant director of this group. And she has started out a group some years ago now, called Felicity, which is the trio that's about to perform. But what I want you to notice tonight is there's a lot more to handbell music than just ringing. You're going to see the complexity of a performance because we are shifting around constantly up there. So guess what my job is while that's happening? I'm entertainment. I hope I'm doing okay with that. So I'm going to turn it over to Sam. Are you ready, Sam?
Yes, we're getting some bells from the hallway.
Are you ready to talk?
Sure.
Okay. I'll talk about what we've got here tonight later.
So, Felicity is a group that was born from COVID, when we all had to pod up and we couldn't ring in a big group of 15 people anymore. I just come with my best friends and I said, hey, can we bring some hard stuff? They're like, yeah, absolutely, let's bring some hard stuff. So what we try to do is we try to bring stuff that's intended for 10 or 12 people. And the number of bells needed is similarly out. So anyway, there are people running in the hallways because not all of what we need came out of the cases. What else? Felicity originated as a quartet. Our name is the pieces of all of the founding members of their names: Farrell, Libby, Sam, and Dawn. And so we just sort of found a way to jam all those initials together into something that seemed like a word. It took some doing. Awesome. So I think I'm talking for you now.
Oh, hi. Hello. Okay. Now I have a mic, but I'm done. I'm done talking.
It's real now.
I don't think we're actually quite ready, but I am out of things to say. Rick's going to fill for a second.
I'll ad lib. So one of the things I want you to feel free to do tonight is to ask us questions, because you're going to see some things and you're going to wonder, how did they do that? Why did they do that? What did they do to make that sound? I hope it's a good sound that you're wondering about. And so please ask us questions. And if anybody's got a question right off the bat. Anybody? Nobody's got a, yes? Those are chimes. Yes, they're choir chimes. Yes, those are below the bass clef. They are written from C below the bass clef to the C below that. They sound from C on the second space of the bass clef to the C below the bass clef. They are, we sound an octave higher than we read the music. It's written that way. Otherwise, our music would be all written up here, way above the treble clef. Good question. Thank you. She's ready to roll. And what are you playing, Sam?
In the Hall of the Mountain King.
B-flat 6.
But any E flat, please. And you will just take this one down.
Okay. Thank you. That one was a little crazy. So next, we are going to do a piece called Ritmo Festivo, and it is something intended for a small ensemble. It is not nearly the spread that we had before, but we still play it with 4 people, and we're going to invite my son Dashel to be our +1. We occasionally still need to do things with 4 because handbell music isn't really written for trios. Most of it's written for quartet because you have the right number of hands to cover the right, it's divisible by the right number of parts. So sometimes we are a trio +1, and in this case, we're going to use Dash as our +1 for Ritmo. There's still a ton of scurrying happening, and it's because they're setting up for the next thing while I still am talking. So I'm going to have them stop. Anybody have a question about what that was? That was a surprise for the end. Yeah. Wow. Here's the thing. So we've rung at your church a lot. Felicity has rung at your church a lot. And we appreciate you guys having us, hosting us. And we appreciate that you are so forgiving of us when we obviously make blunders, because we just did during Mountain King. We just dropped a whole basket of surprise. It's going to be that kind of night, and so thank you for that. So Ritmo Festivo by Felicity +1.
Are the red and the G5 in focus?
Thank you, Felicity. Anybody have questions yet? No, okay. Yes? What are the gloves for? So there's a big debate about gloves, but the tradition of gloves comes from the fact that we get hot and sweaty when we're ringing bells, and the oils and everything from skin can cause the bells to tarnish. If the bells tarnish enough, they change pitch, and we don't want that to happen. Yes, so that's why we wear the gloves. So the bells are made of bronze, and it's interesting, bronze is basically an alloy of copper and tin. And so when we go off to handbell festivals, there are 3 handbell divisions. There are tins, which are the beginners. There are coppers, which are the intermediates. And there are bronze, which are the top level choirs, the more advanced choirs. And the choir that's here tonight is one of, this is the Messengers, and they are one of 6 bronze choirs in New England. So, yes? Yeah, if they tarnish enough, it can change. So are you ready?
I'm stealing the mic because Rick has to set up because he's playing. Oh,
Thank you.
sorry.
She's always trying to push me out of the way. She's waiting for me to retire.
So if you polish and tarnish off, are they back to playing?
So the tarnish itself doesn't cause the change in pitch. The tarnishing can eat into the bronze and cause some of the metal to eat away. So we polish them annually to make sure that that doesn't happen. So one of the things I want to just say before Sam takes over, this next piece, I want you to think about silence, which is hard to think about right now, and I want you to think about stillness. Because this piece is extremely filled with emotion, and you will hear highs and lows in those emotions, and you will hear long pauses in the music, which usually make audiences uncomfortable. Just relax. You'll know when the piece is done, when the ringers finally go, okay? I'll turn it over to Sam now. They're not ready.
They're not ready anyway. Thank you for discussing the silence. That's important. I'm going to talk about gloves for another second just because they're still sort of scurrying. The reason I wear gloves is that the bells that I ring in the back are really heavy. And so the bells protect my hands from blisters and things. And then the piece that I was just doing, I'm playing 4 in hand. I'm playing them 2 different directions. You also get blisters and damage to the insides of your fingers. So they also help protect your skin and protect your hands. There's much less scurrying happening now. I'm gonna take some more after. I just wanted to read you something about this piece. Transitions of the Heart. This piece was written to honor and illustrate 2 siblings' journey through the process of discovering their identities. But as is the way with music, it can universally connect us to them and to each other through the images of innocence, struggle, acceptance, and most importantly, love. Each of us has gone through a time when we have been in transition. Work, health, relationship, children, death, retirement. Admittedly, all of these are not the same, nor as potentially as traumatic, but we can certainly draw from our own feelings and our own experiences to get at the heart of these siblings' struggle. Particularly if we can approach it from the perspective of love and acceptance that we would have wanted, or if we were lucky, we would have received during our own times of transition. Transitions of the Heart by Matthew Compton. Thank you very much. I like that one a lot. I actually chose that piece coming into the COVID year, and then we couldn't do it. We had to put it on the shelf. That happened with a bunch of stuff. Let's see, what's next? Ooh, trio again. So, Brewery Tap is a piece that we saw a quartet from the mountains do. Forte is from the Colorado Springs area, and we saw them perform this, and that was the spark, man. Those guys are good, and we saw it, and we were like, you think we could do that? Like, could we really do stuff that's that hard? And so that was the goal. This, that we're gonna try to do, this is the goal. I'll take a sec for some more questions, if you have them. Oh, not Rick. Yes. Front row. All right, hold on. He's commenting, and I'm not going to repeat everything he says.
And we always would hear, after playing with this group for a lot of years, one thing you heard over and over again was you got to watch the director. Now, I have never seen anybody watch the director like this group just did on that.
I was pretty hard on them. So here's a secret. One of the very, very hardest things to do as a bell ringer is to ring your note and just wait and wait, and it takes forever, and you're playing slowly. But if you require that of them, then they have to watch. Okay, thank you. Yes?
How long did it take you or Davis to learn how to do like 2 bells in one?
Four in hand. The cool thing about four in hand is that you grab 2 of them. The bell only rings in one axis of motion. So it only rings this way. If I turn the bell 90 degrees and try to ring it, it doesn't ring. So if you're holding them crossways, this one rings going this way, and then if you turn it this way, this one rings and the other one doesn't. So that's sort of the cool thing about that. It depends on how aged you are and how elastic your brain is, if you're up for learning. I have a summer choir, and there are some women who want to learn it, and it's taking them a long time. It happens. It's hard. Your hands get hard. Your brain, you have to figure out what's in what hand. But it doesn't, once you can get your mind around it, it doesn't take a long time to figure out how to do it. Rick's trying to take the mic. So, bye.
I just want to comment on that one, that there are ringers who ring what's called 6 in hand, 3 bells in each hand. So you have one axis, a second axis, and a third axis. And anybody up here do 6 in hand or attempted it? Anybody? Yes, okay. I haven't. My brain's too old. So, need some more time back there? Okay. So, you may have gathered by seeing us so far this evening that we are not a professional, polished, spit and polish group. We are a very informal organization. And we invite anybody to be part of this organization. Anybody who wants to ring. We have a children's chorus as well. Any kids that want to sing. We've had kids that can't carry a note, and we carry them along. And we've had ringers who, after 36 years, no, how long has it been? 30 years, still can't read music. So we do what it takes. That's one of our mottos, do what it takes, to make it possible for anybody to ring. And one of the things that we do during the course of some of the seasons is we have a little program we call Ring for Fun. And anybody is welcome to come, and whoever shows up that afternoon, I pick a couple pieces of music based on who's there and how many there are and what we can ring, and we just have a good time ringing and learning and playing together. So I see a question from somebody that I know over here. Oh, so Penny is telling me she's 7, which means in 1 year she's going to be ringing. So Penny is Dash's sister, in case you hadn't figured that out. The big things in the corner, these are choir chimes. They are the same thing as you see on the table we ringing here, just big. Okay, it's like a tuning fork. These have clappers on them. Some of those have clappers, and we sometimes use the clappers, but right now we're just using them with mallets, and they are very low in pitch. They're made of aluminum. And one of the things that makes them very different from the bells in terms of their sound is the bells have a very rich overtone series. So you hear the root of the chord, you hear the 12th of the chord, and then you hear 2 octaves up, and then you hear, it just builds and builds and builds. The aluminum rings only the fundamental. It doesn't ring any of the overtones. So what it does, do you need more time? No. No. And pick it up.
Turns out there's an extra.
We have an extra pendant. So we've been rehearsing and trying to find ways of doing through a cast that went to here, and then a cast that went to here, and now Grace. So I just wanted to acknowledge that she did a pretty good job.
Is that a ringer's ailment?
No, that is outside, that's her own body's problem.
There are ringer ailments. We call it ringer bow, ringer elbow.
Belbo.
Belbo. Yes, we've all experienced it at some point in time. So while they're setting up for quiet prayer, can we have some
Yeah, they should come and
Some-
do this.
Up here, who's in charge of
next round of motion here? We're moving toward, yes. So we're going to reschedule this. They're playing that over there. Sorry. Logistics here. So I'm going to pick up where I left off because it's going to take a little bit of time to move these around. So
these deep chimes? We were the first group that purchased these. And when we took them to the
Mic is off.
I think maybe the battery's dead. So I'll talk louder.
Okay. So, we were the first group that purchased that. And thank you for having us here. This is Harbor Tuesday for those.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm Tuesday Roop. I'm the rector at St. Paul's. It is such a delight to have Chime In and Felicity back at St. Paul's Church. They are true friends of this parish, and we're just honored to have you here. And while they're setting up, you can see that an organization like this, it takes a lot of planning, even for one piece of music. And watching them set up in the process of getting, installed here tonight was no easy task. And all of the amazing things that you do for making music in our community here and in Bethlehem and all the other places, I think is just incredible. What a gift to all of us that live in this area, yes? Absolutely. There is, on the little column as you walk out the door tonight, there is a special bell. It is upright. It's just fixed there, and that bell is there. And if you would make a donation tonight, cash donation, I'm sure a check to Chime In would be just great. But if you could leave a little something in there for this organization, this is not a simple thing to keep up and maintain. And it's up to all of us as audience members to support and love musicians who are bringing so much to the common life of our community. So I want to thank you again for coming, and thanks to all of the musicians in Chime In and Felicity for just making our lives in Woodbury and Southbury and beyond so much richer. So thank you again.
Thank you.
What I know is that if you walk into this dead zone here, you could lose the mic, so I know.
There's a dead zone. Okay, I'll back up. Ooh, look at that. Okay. So I was talking about these chimes, and how are we doing? Are you ready to roll over there? Not quite. When we purchased these chimes, we went off to Handbell Festival. There were 700 ringers in an ice hockey rink. All the tables, everything ringing all together, and we had one set of these chimes. And the first note that those chimes played with hundreds of other ringers, it filled the space with that low sound. Because what happens is that low pitch is resonated by all the other bells and everything. And it was just an amazing thing. I didn't anticipate that. And so they are wonderful to have. So are we ready for quiet prayer?
So the next piece we're going to do is called Quiet Prayer. I did introduce us, we originated as a quartet, and I would like to dedicate Quiet Prayer to our dear friend Libby. Libby has some health ailments that pulled her out of our group too soon and is going to pull her away from us too soon. So she is in a tumultuous time right now, and she could use a little quiet, and she could use a little prayer, and so we're just going to offer this to her.
I think in this concert you get to see the diversity of what we can do with bells and chimes and all of our instrumentation. Serendipity. That's an interesting word. Serendipity, meaning sudden discovery, sudden lucky, unexpected outcome, something that happens without a plan. And there was a serendipitous moment that happened right there in that pew. This pew right here. I hadn't been in St. Paul's Church in decades. And I was here about, I don't know, 5-6 weeks ago with Samantha, and we were measuring this space because, as you can tell, it took a lot of planning to figure out how we were going to fit in here. And so we were planning that out, and Reverend Tuesday came in and introduced herself, and I was having a nice conversation with her, and this older gentleman with a white beard walked in, and Reverend Tuesday introduced him to me. It was Matt Miner. And I'd always heard Matt's name because I knew he was a musician in the area, and I'd never met him. And we were talking, and I explained what we were going to do here. We were going to do this handbell concert. And he said, "Oh, I was so sorry when our church had to sell their handbells. It was such a sad day." And I thought, St. Paul's never had bells that I know of. And so I said something, and Reverend Tuesday said, "Oh no, he's from First Congregational Church up the street." And I lit up and said, "We bought those bells. And we bought them for a reason. We bought them to preserve their local history. Because I've always liked those bells. They have a very different sound than ours. Our bells are made in America, in Pennsylvania, by a company called Schulmerich, and they're in the English handbell style. And the Petit Français, that's what they, I think, maybe say in the Netherlands. I say Petit and Fritzen, but those bells have a very different overtone series, a very different sound. And so I turned to Samantha and I said, "Well, we can't do this concert without using those bells." And so at the last minute, we put in a piece called "Saw You Never in the Twilight." And it's a story of the wise men, the 3 wise men. And you're saying, "You're going to play a Christmas piece for us?" And I'm going to say, and they're going to moan, I'm going to say, "It's okay, we're from Bethlehem." So, let me just check here and make sure I've said everything I want to say here. The Petit Fritzen bells you will hear in the beginning, and you'll hear them appear occasionally during the piece. You'll see that they have a very different sound. So, "Saw You Never in the Twilight."
If you don't know what an overtone series is, these bells sound darker or maybe more mysterious.
More like
Tower bells.
More like tower bells. They have a darker, more mysterious sound, and we'll be playing them with the others and against the others.
Saw You Never in the Twilight.
ring one of each of those different
Bells
bells
together.
of the same tone so you can
Pick a
see?
low
Yeah,
one.
let's take, could I hear the, how about the F4, Pettit Fritzen and the F4 children? Okay, right here together. Oops, here we go. Now ring that one first. Yes, it's, and the reason, I'll go in a little bit about the overtones. Overtones, the shoulders, here's a C4, you also hear the G5, and then here's some other things. The Pettit Fritzens, you hear the C4, and you hear the E flat, the minor third. The one that does, and that's why we're accustomed to things. Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Mike, we're accustomed to nice, clean sounds, and the Pettit Fritzens are not a nice, clean sound. They're different from what we're accustomed to. Yes? Are they made of the same material? And I don't know exactly what the alloy is for Pettit and Fritzen. They're not made anymore. They stopped making them in 2000. So it's unusual to have one of these sets. Okay, thank you. How are we doing? Not ready. Okay. So let me take just a minute to tell you a little bit more about Chime In. How's that? Chime In is an all-volunteer organization, so every one of us up here is a volunteer. We started out as part of First Congregational Church in 1995, and we branched out and became a 501c3 nonprofit in 2011. And we have been ringing and growing since then. And we have all sorts of programs going on. We go out and do things like 4-H Expressive Arts Day, and we do workshops with kids where in 45 minutes kids learn to ring music, ring bells, and learn a piece, and at the end of the day they play it in a concert. And we do workshops like that. We do all sorts of things in the community. We play at the Bethlehem Fair on the main stage next to the oxen pole. You know, you name it, we do it. And the Bethlehem Fair says we're the only fair with a bell choir. So tonight, what you see up front, I took a count. There are 168 handbells up here. Wow. And there are 110 chimes up here. And a few other things. And I counted, there's approximately 500 pages of music up here. So it takes a lot to make a group like this work, okay? And the reason we have so many bells, we've had a lot of generous gifters who have helped us along the way, and we use them. And on Sunday, we had to borrow the concert that's coming up in 2 days, we had to borrow 2 more sets in order to accommodate everybody. So we'll be using 5 sets of handbells. When you heard Transitions of the Heart today, in many ways, that piece celebrates the diversity of hearts, the diversity of souls. The next piece seeks to celebrate the diversity of people in a very different and more outward way, in a more visual way. And I'd like to read something written about this piece. When commissioned to write the next piece to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Harmony Bells of Las Vegas, Michael Glasgow wanted to harness the live and let live, carefree joie de vivre that is such a hallmark of the city. with people of every age, shape, race, style, color, and background, and clothing every bit as diverse as those wearing it. A walk on Las Vegas Boulevard offers some of the best people watching in the world. So I hope you enjoy taking a stroll with us down the Strip in Las Vegas. Okay, let's just check the program here. So just quickly, before I move on to the next piece, any last questions? Any last questions out there? Anything you've seen, you heard? Yes?
You mentioned different levels of stage. Did you need something to get that level, or how does that
It's based on the difficulty of the music that you ring and can ring well enough to perform. So music is leveled. Bronze is 4 to 6, 6 being the most difficult. Tins is level 1, coppers is level 2 to 3. And that piece was like a 4+ or something. So if you can imagine a 6, we've done some, not lately. But how far are we from ready? Almost there? What's that? Not close. Okay, I'm hearing it from Dash. He's the authority back there. Yes. We haven't made recordings. There are complications in doing that. You have to buy royalties. You have to buy recording rights. You have to buy. You have to pay for, all different kinds of things. And we don't have anybody with that kind of expertise in the group to manage it. So we haven't tried to do that. We do have a recording that I'm going to put up online of one piece, which we commissioned, and so we have permission to do that with it. So, yes?
How do you tell when they're looking to make sure? How do you know what notes you're playing?
All the handles are marked, and they'll say something like C5 or C sharp 5 D flat 6. C sharp 5 D flat 5. Because it's like a piano keyboard. And if we were to lay them out, it would look just like a keyboard. But we don't. They move all over the place. So, okay. No, I'm getting the no from Dash. Okay. I'm gonna read this bit anyway. Okay. So, or I'm gonna ask you a question. How's that? How many of you remember the Civil War? The Ken Burns version. Yes, okay. The Ken Burns version, that's what I'm talking about. Just in case you were wondering, I don't remember the real thing, okay? I know my grandfather was in it, but my grandfather. No, my great-grandfather. Anyway, the main theme of the Ken Burns movie series, which was played, you may remember the reading in that of Sullivan Ballew's letter to his wife. It's as he's going off to battle and he knows he's going to die in battle. And it's just this amazing letter. You wonder, the writing is incredible. And this piece that's played is called the Shokan Farewell. And the tune is often thought to be an authentic 18th, 19th century piece of music. It was written in 1982. And it was written by J. Unger. In the Catskills, there is a place called the Ashokan Center. And they have a summer music camp there every summer since 1980. And Jay Unger is one of the main organizers and musicians. He's a violinist fiddler, okay? And he writes this in 1982 after the summer. He writes, "Ashokan Farewell is a tune that I wrote unintentionally, really. It was a moment of deep emotion after the summer camps at Ashokan had ended. It was the third summer, and it was an experiment every summer, pulling this together. And it had been such a deeply moving experience, and the community of people and the feeling of unity that we had through music and being away from the regular world was so important to me that when I had gotten home, I had a sense of loss and longing. And I was looking for a Scottish lament, that would express how I felt. And I couldn't think of one, so I just started playing, and this tune came out. And it brought me to tears. And every time I played the beginning of it for months afterward, I was brought to tears. And so I hope that, I don't know if I want to bring you to tears, but I hope that it will evoke a real sense of emotion this evening, and I hope that as a group, we understand a little bit of what he was talking about, because we ring together, we work together, side by side, hours sometimes a week. We rehearse every Friday, sometimes Sunday afternoons, sometimes in addition to that. And we know that sense of community. So a Shokan Farewell, arranged by Sandra Ethan. Amen Siakadumisa. It's an African hymn, actually. And we're not going to let you get away with just coming to a concert and sitting there. So, the surprise, Miss Penny is going to come around, and she's got a basket full of eggs that she's going to hand out, and Sam's going to bring some sticks around and learn how to play these things so that you can join in. So can I have a penny? May I have one? If you got some eggs, and if you want more than one, you can have more than one. But basically, if I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Think we can just join them?
Oh, boy.
Not the way we rehearsed it, but they're good.
One is, this is go. This is stop. Okay? And I think I need to speed it up. So we're going to go. invite you to come up front now and talk to the ringers, try out the bells, try out the chime, try out the big chimes, the big bells, whatever you want to do, try it out. The ringers will help you. Okay? And if you happen to think that on your way out, those two bells are not very full right now, and if you'd like to do something different, we appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Tuesday and St. Paul.
Thanks, guys.
This is, what note is it? You can see, let me show you, it's written on the score here.
Okay, I see.
See, two ledger lines by one of us.
They add a lot.
They don't, by themselves, they're not much, but as soon as you play it with a bell, all of a sudden, you're like, who's playing